Hey guys, Madman coming back with our first Destiny 2 video. That's right, we are going to start talking Destiny 2 here on the channel in addition to Warframe. And I thought, what better way to start with that than to talk about Destiny in 2023 and if it's worth the investment for you as a new gamer. Now, a quick disclaimer, I have to explain that I have been playing Destiny in both iterations for over a decade now. I did play a lot of D1 when it launched through the Taken King, and then played a lot of D2 up until Shadowkeep. We'll kind of get into that a little bit later in the video, but I have a lot of hours in Destiny series as a total. Yeah, those words are hard. The thing with Destiny 2 is we need to lay out a little bit of history. And that is because Destiny 2 launched as a game back in 2017. And when they launched, a lot of people thought it was going to be something very different from what it launched as. Basically, you had to restart the game and restart your collecting, and there were pieces of D1 lore and or activities that weren't present in the game at launch. Things like that really kind of just took a huge stab at what I think D2 was trying to accomplish when they first launched. Now, I skipped the initial part of D2 mainly because of that, and it made me mad. And I was like, I don't want any part of this. But a good friend of mine convinced me to go ahead and jump in when they did the Forsaken expansion. And I'm going to be honest, the Forsaken expansion was an absolute barn burner, probably one of the best pieces of storytelling in video games I've ever had the pleasure of experiencing. So it's not in the game now, which is kind of depressing, and we'll get to that as well here in a little bit. But if you haven't gotten the chance and you're on the fence about Destiny, go back and watch the Forsaken cutscenes once you get a little bit more familiarized with the world. Destiny, for me, D2 started in Shadowkeep, or in Forsaken, and I played up through Shadowkeep. And after that, I took a very long break because I thought that Bungie was doing some things I didn't agree with. And it started with their battle pass that they put in with Shadowkeep, and I just didn't think that the battle pass was worth the money. I didn't think their seasonal content was worth the money. I didn't agree with a lot of that stuff going forward. The break was extended when Witch Queen came out a year ago, a little over a year ago now, and they announced that they were going to basically charge extra for the dungeon key and not give the dungeon key to those people who had bought the annual pass. I also was like, that's stupid. And then that was about the time they started the sunsetting practice, which we may do a video on that at some point. But if you haven't heard about the sunsetting practice, go ahead and look it up on YouTube. I'm sure some people have covered it. That's neither here nor there. Fact is, I'm starting off with a lot of negatives here, right? Because you're like, oh, maybe not. I'm not sure. But Destiny brought me back in with the free Beyond Light campaign that PS Plus gave out a couple months ago, and I got in right before Lightfall dropped. And I actually got in, played the Beyond Light campaign, and then got hooked into Witch Queen's campaign because it was on sale. I've given you all of the bad here. This is all of the bad of how D2 has gotten to this point in 2023. Let's dive down a little bit deeper. Shadowkeep turned me off because I thought they had a really poor execution of a number of centralized features that they wanted to roll out into the game. I thought that they had issues with the way that things were handled in both the battle pass, maybe even in the story a little bit, maybe even in a few of the other odds and ends things, and they were still shying away from that MMO feel that they promised all the way back in D1, and they definitely shied away from the RPG element that they had really started to institute right at the end of D1. So a lot of those things kind of melded together, and I was like, no. I'm not a fan, wasn't happy, turned it off, walked away, and was gone for quite a while. They announced the sunsetting thing, which in short meant they were taking elements out of the game that you paid for. Like, case in point, I own the Forsaken expansion, but I can't go back and play that Forsaken expansion. The Red War original campaign that was in D2 is no longer in the game. They took out some planets. Now, they've re-added some stuff here and there over the last couple years because they realized how much that made people mad. People were mad because they were effectively paying for stuff that was getting shut off, and that's a fair thing. That sunsetting announcement really kind of pushed me over the edge and going, I'm not going back to D2. I have no urge, no thank you. This is honestly where Warframe kind of started to take over my shooter on the element of gaming. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Bungie and Activision split. So Bungie and Activision had to find their feet and separated. Not Activision. Activision knew where its feet were half the time, hiding in a hole in the ground, probably. But Bungie had to find its feet as an indie developer, and it turned out that PlayStation actually bought, I believe they bought all of Bungie, so now Bungie is technically a PlayStation-owned studio. So this was around that time that they were really trying to find their feet, and I started to hear rumblings that they were getting away from sunsetting. They were really trying to lean back into that MMO RPG style element, and they were instituting a third subclass, or technically a fourth subclass, the first darkness subclass, which was the stasis subclass. I was interested in where this direction was going, and it was around that time that they brought out the Beyond Light campaign for free on PlayStation Plus. So I got in there and I really kind of tore it up a little bit. And I went, you know what? The gameplay's still clean. I still enjoy it. What does it have to offer me going forward? I got to looking at the Game Pass, or the Battle Pass. The Battle Pass had been overhauled. It had been done very well. You got the cosmetics, you got armor sets, you got resources, you got all kinds of stuff in this Battle Pass. And then once you hit 100, I found out later, every 5 levels after 100, you also got additional cosmetics. So it still kind of paid for itself as long as you continue to play. I took a chance, bid into Beyond Light Hard, got Witch Queen on sale, played through Witch Queen, and ended up getting Lightfall when it launched. Now, what does this all mean? If you're tuning in, and let me give you the short answer here. Short answer is that D2, Destiny 2, is worth investing in if you're brand new to the game. There's a ton of content now. They've done away with sunsetting. They've done away with the dungeon keys if you buy the annual passes. There's no nickel and diming. All of their microtransactions have went strictly to cosmetics. I'm okay with that. Free-to-play model gets you in the door and lets you play a little bit and figuring it out. I think that if you're new to the first-person shooter of Destiny, now has never been a better time than any to get in there and actually play this game. And with all the changes they've made, all the things that they've expressed, and the things that they continue to express about how they're going to continue to enhance and update PvP, enhance and update Gambit, enhance and update the subclasses, the seasonal stories continuing to put out stuff, all of those things kind of bleed together and say, guess what? We're here to stay. Destiny 3 isn't around the corner, which in controversial fashion, I'll say I am A-okay with. I think that if you are interested in Destiny 2, now is the time to get in. Go over right now, either on PC, Xbox, or PlayStation. Download the game, give it a try. If you have questions about what the game has, we're going to start doing some tutorial tips, some lore videos, some build videos for Destiny 2 here on the channel. Drop your questions in the comments below. If you have questions that I might have missed in this video and things, drop those. And if I don't do a video on it specifically, I'll respond in the comments. I always try to respond to the comments. So this is our first Destiny-esque video, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot more of these. I very much enjoy how Destiny has come. I enjoy where it's going, and I think that it's going to be a fun ride adding this to the slew of content that I do here on the channel. If you guys have not done so already, do me a quick favor, hit the subscribe button here on YouTube. We're really closing in on that 300 sub mark, which is something I wanted to do before the end of the year. Looks like I'm going to break that, which is awesome. Thank you, guys. We do stream on Twitch. Once we get the ball rolling again, we are going to be doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Have had some health emergencies and some family issues, but we are back to making videos. There are going to be some shorts and more stuff coming. So thank you guys for watching. Until next time, I am the Madman, saying eyes up, Guardian, because you never know when a Taken King might try to shoot you from behind.